So here we have the induction for Kingsley. Starting you off on the passenger side, you have a big book of instructions. Page 1, we've got some important stuff, so please look after the keys and keep the van secure. It is possible to lock yourself out of these vans, hence the sticker on the side door. So basically, after any lock event with the van, whether you're inside or outside, I would normally open and shut a front door, because once you've done that, the van will not relock itself. If you fail to open and shut a front door, it will believe that you've accidentally unlocked it and relock all the doors after 30 seconds. So the moral of the story is always open and shut front door, and then you're all happy. Secondly, we want you to look out for areas of limited headroom. The vehicle height is marked underneath your sun visor in feet and in meters. If in doubt, please don't go in. Speed limits on these vans, they're registered as a motor caravan, so you drive at motor caravan speed. So we recommend, though, driving at 50 on a single carriageway simply because of the size of the vehicle. You're allowed 1,000 miles per week of hire or 425 miles for a 3-day hire. You should turn the gas off when you're not using it, and certainly when you're driving. Nobody is to roam around the vehicle while it's in motion. And then please report to us any incidents, any collisions, any damage, anything missing, any problems. Please report them straight away so we know what we're doing when you return. No smoking in our vans, please. Please make sure it's clean and tidy inside before it comes back. Please make sure you've emptied the toilet cassette and rinsed it. And please bring it back full of fuel and on time. If you fail to bring it back full of fuel, or if you fail to bring it back on time, there are financial penalties for not complying with those rules. So please make sure you allow plenty of time to return. And then just here, this is us, and there's a couple of petrol stations around along with their postcodes, just for easy reference for you. Otherwise, everything you need to know is in this book. While I'm in the front, each front seat has a swivel. There's a lever down there that'll take both of these seats around to face the inside. You have all of your controls are in here along with your reversing camera. Most vans do not have reversing sensors, they just have the camera, so please be careful. Automatic box of park, reverse, neutral, drive and M is manual. We recommend that you drive it in M. Cruise control, all that kind of usual stuff over there, and when I get round to the other side I'll show you where the handbrake is. On this particular van, there are little blinds that come across the front windows. Please be gentle with them. They're actuated just by pressing those gently together and pulling across, and then they stick magnetically onto the side here. Next is our diesel. You'll obviously need this for return at some point. So you just shove the nozzle in. There's no lock on here, but shove the nozzle in and you're straight into it. Below is the AdBlue filler, but the AdBlue should have had enough in for you for your trip. Coming down the side, on this side, the passenger side, we have the toilet cassette. Above here sits your toilet, and all the toilet waste drains into this. At some point you're going to need to return this clean and empty, so we have some spare chemical there for you to use. Lift, slide, and you're going to take this to the chemical toilet disposal point and then empty everything out of this spout. You can move the spout. And once you've rinsed it by pouring water back in there a bit and got rid of anything that's inside, you can then chuck in one of our chemicals and a little bit of water to dissolve it before pushing it back in like so. Really important with these long vans is to watch the tail swing. Okay, because the van pivots around there and the back end will swing out. So if, for example, you're going through a gateway, you need to make sure you've completely cleared the gateway before you start to turn, because as you turn left, the back end will move right and vice versa. This is where we get most of our damage on the corners of these vans, because people didn't clear the obstacle before turning. Just inside this rear locker, you've got lots of storage inside here, but we tend to keep the ladder for the electric bunk in here. You can just about see over there, those are your levelling ramps. So you're going to want to drive up onto those to make sure you're reasonably level. On the far side, you just see your mains hookup cable, your water filler hose, and we carry an extra solar panel on board this van as well. And then looking around the back, up the top, you'll just see the perspective that your reversing camera will give you. Now onto the driver's side, the other half of your garage. Now down here, there are a couple of taps. The blue one, never ever ever open the blue one, because that will drain all your fresh water. However, just down there is a grey tap. The grey tap will drain all your grey water, so anything from the sink or the shower will come out of that one. We tend to leave it open, so there's a chance that when you go to it you might find there's nothing in there to come out because it's already drained. But that's where you drain your grey water. Please drain it as often as possible. There's a water filler here. We don't use that one, we use the one that's hidden behind this door. I'll show you that one in a second. And inside this one lives your gas bottle. So it'll be attached to the end of here. Should you need to swap it, you just undo this manually and put it onto another cylinder. And on top of the cylinder will be a tap that will be on or off, usually supplied to you off. And if you're in any doubt, it's usually labelled on top of the cylinder as on or off, and you should certainly have it off for driving. Hidden in behind this one is your fresh water filler. If you slide that up, put a hose pipe in, and then fill the van until you hear water running underneath on this particular model, because there's an overflow, then you'll know it's full. And then last but not least on this side is the mains hookup point. So here, just see, pull. You have a cable in the back of the van. You're going to lift the lid, and if you push this in hard here, you will then hear the microwave go beep if there's a mains connection. Just heard the beep, so we know it's all good. If you don't hear the beep and the mains doesn't seem to be working, in behind here there is a set of circuit breakers. Normally there would be lights on the panel, so if there are no lights on the panel and the circuit breakers are all up, then you know the problem probably lies with the campsite. So it's usually either you haven't paid the app, or the app's not working, or the campsite have tripped out. Just going to the driver's side, we have handbrake here, pull for on, push for off. And this one up here is like an automatic hill hold, that's either on or off, but you're going to need to release the handbrake before you drive away. Auto lights, all the usual sort of stuff on here that you expect from your car. Moving to inside the van, we have door bin. Please return that one empty if you don't mind. Come on inside. Usually get a dustpan and brush for cleaning up. That does move around the van. Sometimes you might find it in the garage, but you've got your two swivel seats. Remember the little lever in the front that'll take them around to face the inside. Seating arrangements. Got your two belted seats here. This little piece is currently left out for the moment. That's to enable whoever sits there to put their feet down. But you can put the board in and then the cushion on top just to create a nice bit of L-shaped sofa on here. On your side windows, you'll find blinds, mozzie nets come down from the top, and you've got an opening window over the top as well. Please drive with all windows shut and all blinds open. That's just to avoid any damage. Up above us, we've got the electric bed up here. I'll show you some more about that in a moment. However, should anything go wrong with the electric bed, there's a manual winder here which will get you out of trouble. And the manual winder just goes in here, in behind the driver, up in that little hole up there. And that will bring the bed up and down manually rather than electrically. And a little bit of self-help. There's a resettable fuse in there. If you push the button, that will sometimes reset the power supply to the bed. Looking towards the back of the van, you have your kitchen, sink, hob, oven, mains powered microwave, only works on mains power, and then bits and pieces in all of these, pots and pans and the like down there. You have over here main socket. This will only work if you're hooked up to mains. It's not going to work when you're driving along. It only works when your cable is switched to mains power. A couple of light switches, USB and a couple more light switches up underneath. And this one's the controller for the electric bed. Now, when you press this one, the bed will come down, squeaky squeaky, and go back up again. And the bed is designed to come down to this point here. So the top of the mattress should go here, and then you've got the bed at the perfect height to use the ladder. Moving to above the door. So here we have a control panel and some boiler panels. What's going on here is this is the mains control panel for the van. So when you've driven, everything in the back will turn off. So you'll need to wake it up by pressing the power button here to get everything going again. And first of all here we can see a variety of buttons. So we've got lighting. When we press main, the lights either go on or off. Go back to home. Power tells me my battery levels. Okay, and then back to home again. Water, that one's quite important. Tells me my fresh water is full. And this one here is the water pump. So the water lives underneath the floor and you need to be able to pump it to the van. So if you open a tap and you don't have the pump on, you won't get water out of the tap. But please, please, please turn it off when you're not in the van. And that's pretty much it for this panel. Up there you get somewhere to clear down any problems. Over here on this side we get our boiler controls. So for example on this one, this would be our heating control. You can run them on gas or on electricity. At the moment we have got electricity, so we could wake it up on either. And you turn them off like so. So no lights, boiler's off. Blue is on standby and orange would be heating. This is my hot water boiler. It's not very happy with me at the moment because I just disconnected the mains. So it needs to have its error reset here. So normally we ask that one what it was, and then we clear it down with our reset button there. And now that that little exclamation mark has gone, we know our boiler's good to go. I've got a couple of settings on here. First of all, 40 degrees there would be our target temperature, and I've already run up a tank of warm water. If you wanted it hotter, you can move it up to 60 degrees, and our water temperature has already reached full power at the moment. That one just tells me it's heating. If it goes back to blue, it goes back to standby. But the most important bit of information to take away from here is if the exclamation mark is lit, press on the exclamation mark and then press the reset button down the bottom. Please make sure the boilers are turned off before you start the engine. Towards the back of the van we have our big fridge, freezer, lots of fridge. The fridge is all electric, so it's running off the leisure battery at all times, and it is touch sensitive. We've programmed it at the moment for average fridge and small freezer, and you also get a little nighttime mode on here, so it's humming away and making a bit too much noise for you at night. If you press the nighttime option, that will then keep it a bit quieter for the next 12 hours. And then looking towards the back of the van, you've got some storage underneath here, you've got some wardrobes over either side, you'll find various charging options for phones and the like. Some light switches just tucked away around the corner. That one does your washroom light, and there's some various other light switches just up around the top up there. Washing up bowl. The table for the van lives here. And then almost last but not least is the washroom, where we have shower cubicle, obviously a sink, the toilet. Last bit of important information I need to give you. You need to open the grey lever before you use the toilet. That opens that cassette below. Once you've done what you need to do, flush it with the blue button that's just on the wall over there. If no water still comes out, give someone a shout and ask them to put the water pump on, and that will flush the bowl out. And then when you're done, close that up. The bowl will swivel to wherever it needs to be, and we use an easy dissolving toilet paper so it doesn't clog up in the cassette, and you'll often find another one inside there for you. So just to recap, before we all head off on our great adventure, you need to make sure outside the van, first of all, that you are level. So drive up onto those levelling ramps until you feel that this cabin area here feels reasonably level. Doesn't have to be spirit level, but just reasonably level. Then you're going to do your energy. So you're going to turn on your gas and your electricity. And once you've plugged in your electricity and you've heard that confirmation beep from the microwave or come inside the van and just checked, then you know you're pretty much good to go. Swivel your seats. Turn your power on up here. Maybe turn your boilers on. And that's it. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great holiday.